what's going on? So this is the next project. This is a 2021 Toyota Tundra. And what I'm gonna do to it is, it's pretty much new. Got about 1,300 miles on it. Just picked it up yesterday from the customer in Monterey. Brought it down here to Southern California. Pretty much, you know, if you look at most trucks, which I've explained this before, I did this to my Ranger. If you look at all new trucks, right, the front sits lower than the rear. And the reason they do that, well, this is my theory, and I have verified this because if you look like the new Ford Ranger Tremor, they softened the suspension up in the rear and it got rid of some of the towing capacity. So my theory and what I don't like is that for the manufacturer to rate it for towing capacity, you have to set the truck up for that towing capacity right off the bat. And so you have to put very stiff springs in the rear and essentially overspring the rear to meet the payload and towing capacity that they rate from the factory. And the problem with that is most people, the majority of people, are not driving around with that kind of weight in their truck, or not driving around towing stuff all the time. So you end up with this oversprung feeling truck. So what I'm doing to this one, customer wanted a lift. So my recommendation, you know, a 6-inch lift with 35-inch tires to me is completely, you're doing it for no purpose. There's no function. So what I did, went to Camburg Engineering in Huntington Beach, California, and I've gotten their trail kit. So we're gonna do the Fox. So this is a TRD Off-Road. So it has the Bilstein coilovers in the front. So we're gonna put Fox coilovers in the front, replace this upper A-arm. That's gonna correct some of the geometry. I believe they said that it adds caster, a degree of it makes it adjusts the caster. Let's just say that adjusts the caster. So it's going to drive, change the geometry once you lift the truck up. So we're going to add about 2 inches to the front, and then we're going to do these 33-inch Falken Wildpeak AT3Ws. Now, when you use stock wheels, you do have to, per the notes that Camburg has, you do have to space. If you don't do different backspacing with a new wheel, you have to change the backspacing essentially with some wheel adapters, which you're going to do on all 4 corners. And I know some people don't like wheel adapters, but we ran a whole set on our G-Wagon and Baja, and I mean, didn't have any problem with them. So I'm pretty confident in them as long as you torque everything like you should. But yeah, we're gonna run the stock wheels, 33-inch Falken Wildpeak AT3Ws. I'm also gonna do, and I'm gonna do, once I do everything, get everything done, I'm gonna do another part of this video will be me going over all that stuff. But we're gonna do the amp research running boards. So those are gonna be replaced there. We're gonna do some side bed steps here. I've ordered the rear bumper steps, but those haven't come in, they're back ordered right now. And we're gonna do safe. Console safe and an under seat safe in the rear, and I think that's pretty much in phase 1 of this truck what we're going to do. So that's what this video is going to be. The end of this video will be me going over that part, and then yeah, drivability wise, like what I don't like about the nose down in the truck is when you're driving the truck, it feels like you're slanted forward, and I don't know, to me as a driver, I do not like that feeling. So this is going to change that, and then obviously with the Fox shock, it's just going to make it ride a lot better. And we're doing Fox shocks in the rear as well. That's part of the trail kit that you get with Camburg. But yeah, that's it. For that, it's do it in a couple days here, get it aligned and everything installed, and yeah. So I'll do a little update after we get everything installed. All right, got the wheels off. All right, jacked up, wheels off. This is this is stock here. This is coming out and getting replaced. And this is getting taken off and being replaced by those are the upper arms there. Camburg. There's a kit for them. Comes with all the bushings. And then here, these are the rears. And these. Excuse me while I fumble with these. Right there is the coilover. That's going there. So compared to like my Ranger, it seems a whole lot easier to get this out because the bottom of the coilover is right at the edge here. So you just take the bolt out and loosen these nuts up here, and then this should be able to slide out. With the Ranger, you have, because this sits in the middle of the lower arm, you have to pretty much take off all of this stuff. And plus, because this is a bigger truck, it's a Tundra, it's a lot bigger, so you know, a little easier to get the thing. So now for the upper arm, you take out the cotter pin, this castle nut, and then there's a bolt that runs all the way through. And I did this one time on I had a 2003 Tundra, and I did it somewhere, and it's similar design, but I did it once before on that truck, and I like the way it came out. So, all right, so much easier than the Ford Ranger to take the front coilover out. You pop the tie rod off, disconnect the sway bar. I popped, because I have to take this off anyway. Even in the instructions, it didn't say to take this out, but I have to do it because I'm replacing this arm. So I popped that out of there. Did that with the puller there. Yeah, so I used that puller for the tie rod as well. The tie rod puller that I have did not fit in there. I disconnected the brake line and wheel speed sensor bolt there. Now I'm going to take the upper arm off. But yeah, because it's way on the end here, it's pretty easy to get out, where, like I said, the Ranger, you've got to like take the whole thing off. And here's the other thing. With the Ranger, they use all one-time use fasteners. So the good thing about the Toyota is that it uses, these aren't self-locking, so you don't have to. And then this cotter pin here, you can replace that cotter pin, or you can reuse this cotter pin. And then there's one cotter pin here that you got to replace. But other than that, it's a little bit easier than the Ford, I will say. I would imagine the Tacoma is similar, because Tacoma and the Tundra are pretty much designed the same, just things are smaller with the Tacoma, 4Runner, stuff like that. So probably about the same. All right, got the upper arm off. It's a little trickier. It's tricky to get to because, and so see this, let's see if you can see this cable here. It goes to the battery. Make sure to disconnect the bracket. There's a 12mm bolt. Disconnect that, pull this flat back, because the bolt's really long. This is the bolt here, and so you have to slide it all the way that way. And also, when you do it, make sure to leave the washer next to the bushing, because if you try to slide the whole bolt with the washer near the head of the bolt, it won't fit past the battery box area there. So hold this against the bushing, slide this out, and then once it clears, you know, all of that, and the mount here that you can see, it'll come off. So front end on the driver's side is fully disassembled. Now I'll start putting it back together. Just built the driver's side arm. As you can see here, driver up, had to put the 90 degree zerks in. These are self-tapping. So I pointed them towards the outside of the truck so they're easy to get to. You don't have to bottom them out, you just have to snug them up. And then you got to install that zerk fitting there. They say that's 8mm, it's really 7. They say that's 1/4 inch, it's really 3/8. Greased up the polyurethane bushings in each side, and then you got to put 4 washers, 2 on each side per arm. So that's what I'm gonna do next. Put it on in. Comes with decent instructions, but like I said, the where it says 1/4 inch, that's really 3/8. 8mm, that's really 7. All right, so as you can see here, we got the coilover, Fox coilover installed, Camburg arm installed. I've left the preload at what it comes by, and just by measuring the hub height off the ground, gained about 1 inch. So I'm going to leave it, put the other side on, and then put the wheels and tires back on and see how it sits. I don't want to mess with the right height until I can see it. And then it says in the instructions that you can do it while the coilover's still in the car, or in the truck. And then I'm going to leave the top cap off the upper arm because I'm going to put, there's a cover that goes on there, but I got to grease it. It comes with these new clamps for the speed sensor here, which I've installed. New nuts, all new washers. The bolt is the same, but the nut is different, so they give you a new nut. They give you a new nut for the ball joint here and a cotter pin, and then I replaced that cotter pin. I thought you were going to use a stock one, but I guess not. I haven't put the bolt back in the sway bar. I'm going to leave that off until they do the other side. But so that's one side done. Took about 3.5 hours to do one side, so it's time consuming, but it should be quicker on the other side because I've already figured out all the weird stuff. So all right, what's going on? So just finished up the 2021 Tundra SR5 TRD Off-Road. This one we did Camburg trail kit, which includes Fox shocks front and rear. So coilovers in front, upper control arms in front, shocks in rear. There you can see the there's the coilover, upper control arm. I left it. They say 0 to 2 inches. I left them adjusted as they were as they came out of the box. I did not do any adjustment to them for ride height or preload or anything. And yeah, and that's enough to put a 33 inch. These are 33 inch Falken Wildpeak AT3Ws. You do have to take there's the two, well, on this truck there were a little mud flap here and a mud flap there. I took those off. It had these wheels stock. These are the TRD Off-Road wheels, 18 inch. And then the customer wanted black wheels, and I thought at last minute it's going to be hard to find all stock. But on Craigslist somebody was selling these TRD black powder coated wheels, so we went that route, kind of keeping it with it. You do have to run a spacer though, 1.25 inch spacer, which I got off of to clearance the A-arm to the tire. It probably doesn't need 1.25 inch, but it's hard to find anything but that size. So and you can see they don't stick out too far. Right there, you can kind of see down the truck. Yeah, so got that all completed. Here's the rear shocks back here. You can see Fox shock. Oh yeah, so we also added customer wanted running boards, and as you can see, you can't even see them. These are the Amp Research running boards, the PowerSteps. Now usually they're wired to the door switch, so when you open the door they drop down automatically. The only thing about that is they make you splice into each switch wire into the wiring harness that's by the kick panel on the door. Now I didn't really think that was a good idea for a truck that's under warranty with electrical things and stuff. I would think that Toyota I don't think would like that. So what I did is I figured it's just a switch that's telling it to operate. So what I did is I put a manual switch in. So what you do is you come in here, flip that down, boom, step drops down. The LED lights still work. You can't really see them because it's too bright out, but the LED lights are there. And then when you're done with the step, you hit the switch. There's a little delay, boom, they tuck back up. I think it's kind of a nice way to do it. I think now what I did, what I had to do that is I took both of the front door wires and I took them out of the wiring harness and I routed them over here to the switch and then grounded the switch, and then the other 2 door switch wires I just deleted from the wiring harness altogether. So there shouldn't be an issue with that. Also added from Amp Research these side bed steps here, and I'll show you. These things they're pretty well designed, but they have a lot of bracketry that you can probably see there, that you have to add all that to the it's just a lot of brackets, super amount of brackets. And you do have to put a nut cert in for one of the bolts, which isn't just 17/32 hole or something like that. Yeah, so we're gonna black out the bumpers eventually, front and rear, and the grill, kind of give it more of a little blacked out look. It came factory with the blacked out badges, but yeah, not bad. We also put a center console safe in. So it's this is the from Tuffy center console safe, and that just bolts in. It's pretty easy to install. We're gonna do the under seat safe, but the one that they sent, I think we got the wrong one. Need the one without the bins underneath. But yeah, there it is. If you got any questions, let me know. I'll tell you everything I can about it. If you got any dumb comments, go ahead and leave them. You'll get a dumb answer. You know, that's how it works. Check it out next time.